ice times at Nebing Arena could be greatly reduced to weekends only starting in mid-October. Good evening, I'm Haley Perreault. Thank you for joining us. The City Council chambers saw the first meeting of both the Quality of Life and the Growth Standing Committees last night. Quality of Life members endorsed the closure of Nebing and Grandview arenas on certain days due to limited demand and maintenance. Meanwhile, the Growth Committee members voted to support Science North's ongoing plan to build a new science center at the waterfront. Jessica Clement has the details.
Quality of Life Committee members have endorsed a service change recommendation from administration, which would see Nebing Arena closed for all weekday ice bookings due to limited demand, while Grandview Arena will no longer have ice bookings on Mondays to accommodate maintenance. The report says the changes still meet the community's needs for access to daytime ice, but also improves the work-life balance for the facility's staff.
We had two staff members that were on solid night shifts. And through their concerns, we relooked at scheduling to help with their work-life balance. And with this new upcoming shift schedule that we've proposed, they will be able to switch off of nights and have days as well.
The report adds there are exceptions to the closures, including to accommodate tournaments, users displaced from their regular arena due to maintenance, or if the demand for weekday ice increases.
Given that the school year started in September, obviously, and this change is being articulated for, I think, October, was that given enough time for schools to tweak their schedule?
The school schedule is still ongoing, so teachers have just come into the classroom recently, and they're still making requests for school groups, for school bookings, so it's not done yet, but we haven't heard any concerns.
The proposal still requires final approval from City Council, which is scheduled to vote on it on October 7th. If approved, those changes will take effect on October 12th. Later on in the evening, Growth Standing Committee members gave their support to Science North as it continues to explore plans for a new science center along the waterfront.
This recommendation reflects the waterfront master plan vision of creating a cluster of cultural and educational attractions, supports planned development along Sleeping Giant Parkway, and keeps open future opportunities at Pool 6.
The 1-hectare parcel of land being looked at is just south of the Art Gallery's new building. At-large councillor Rajni Agarwal expressed concerns about the parking.
Where is the parking there for Science North? I don't see anything there. All the parking I see is east of the Art Gallery.
There is discussion about parking. And within the master plan, there is language that parking may be added.
The project is still in its early stages and will be brought back to council at a later date. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The remaining pieces of the historic James Whalen tug were moved today to the Pool 6 dock. The Transportation Museum of Thunder Bay got some help from a local crane company and a tugboat with a barge to transport the smokestack, the wheelhouse, and other components from the Patterson dock near the swing bridge to their new home next to the Alexander Henry icebreaker. Jonathan Wilson has the story.
It was an emotional day for Transportation Museum President Wally Peterson, as a chunk of the hull from the 1905 James Whalen tug, along with several other pieces, were carefully lifted off a barge and onto the Pool 6 property next to the Alexander Henry, where they'll be preserved with the group's other historic transportation artifacts.
Well, today we're moving the final pieces of the James Whalen to our site. We started this 10 years ago when the TMTB was formed to try and get the Whalen and preserve it and take it off the city's hands.
A complete demolition of the 120-year-old ship was approved by City Council in April, despite pleas by the Transportation Museum Group to preserve the top portion of the Whalen for a public display at Pool 6. The demolition company ended up working with the group to donate a few key items from the vessel. The transporting of those items began in the morning at the Patterson dock. The museum group got a good deal from the crane and tugboat companies, as the wheelhouse and other pieces were placed onto a barge, floated to the Pool 6 dock, and then lifted onto the property, which the group leases from the city. Peterson says the city had no involvement in this move.
The city council voted that they were just going to scrap the hull, and it was up to us. So it's been all our volunteers and people working with the companies like LH North and Thunder Bay Tugs, and of course Thunder Bay Engineering, who let us keep the artifacts on their site. And we worked out a deal with them, worked out a deal with these guys, and now it's here.
The pieces of the Whalen were then lifted and moved a second time at Pool 6. Peterson says they'll spend the next year or more turning those pieces into a fitting display.
We're going to arrange the pieces so that the stern piece will be closest to the lighthouse that's down there, and then we'll have the skylight. We're hoping to get a little piece of the bow from Harbor Metals, so we'll have the bow there. We have the anchors to bring in, so we're going to arrange it to kind of look like the hull did. We're then going to restore the wheelhouse and the captain's quarters, and we'll be putting in a display of the James Whalen and what it did and how it worked in that part of the wheelhouse.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Local emergency responders were rushed to Algoma Street today for a scary-looking auto-pedestrian collision involving a man in a wheelchair. It happened just before 12 o'clock at the entrance to St. Joseph's Hospital. Thunder Bay Police, Fire Rescue, and paramedics responded. The man in the wheelchair was taken to Thunder Bay Regional by ambulance, but fortunately, his injuries are believed to be minor. It appears the driver of the minivan was exiting St. Joe's when the vehicle collided with the wheelchair rolling down the sidewalk. There's no word from City Police on whether any charges are pending. A Calgary-based energy company is moving to the next stage with its proposal for a natural gas power plant in Thunder Bay. If it's approved by the IESO, the generating station would be built on vacant industrial land near the grain elevators in the intercity area. Jaden Billick reports.
During Tuesday night's Growth Standing Committee meeting, members were introduced to plans for a 31-megawatt natural gas power plant. The project would look like this and features 8 reciprocating engines able to use renewable fuels if and when they become available in the future. Chris Codd is the Vice President of Asset Development and Regulatory for Calgary-based Versorium Energy and says a big part of the project is a nearby grain elevator on Marine Street.
We're going to lease the lands from Canada Malting, and part of the project, though, is to sell them heat to offset their use of their boiler as part of their industrial process right now. At the same time, our goal with a power plant from the electrical side is to be able to sell power to the grid when it's needed and operate as a peaking facility. So it's sort of unique in that it's not a traditional base-loaded cogeneration facility, but what we're calling a peaking cogeneration facility.
An open house was held at the Slovak Legion where community members had the opportunity to take a closer look at just what this project is all about. It'll be located on the corner of Central Avenue and Marine Street, and if there's support from City Council and a contract is awarded by the electricity system operator, construction could start in 2028 with an estimated cost of around $50 to $80 million. Senior Account Manager Frederick LaBelle with Enerflex says the plant could create roughly 20 local construction jobs.
Really, we've had some interested subcontractors that came to the event today. And really good conversations, and I'm really excited about those. We do engage local subcontractors for every discipline. It starts with excavation, civil contractors, mechanical contractors, electrical. So we try to use as much local resources as possible, just to typically they know better.
The open house runs until 8 o'clock tonight for anyone interested in finding more information about the project by Versorium Energy. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
The Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce is taking steps to promote a more inclusive shopping experience with a new campaign called Status Cards Welcome. Local businesses are encouraged to display these decals created by Engaged Creative Productions, showing they welcome Indigenous status cards and honor tax exemptions under the Ontario First Nations HST rebate program. Packages have been sent to Chamber members, which include 2 decals and an information sheet outlining what retailers need to know. Chamber Board First Vice Chair Ed Collins emphasized the importance of this campaign, noting that status cards can sometimes cause confusion.
There's been for many years, when presenting my status card, there's a lack of education for what it is and why we do use it. So yeah, I think there's a very strong need for some education. on a status card.
We really enjoyed working on this campaign. It's always wonderful to work with all of the artists, especially to do things like this where we are working with a lot of pieces. It's going to be great to see it out in the wild, and we're very happy that the Chamber approached us. It was a great project.
Decals and details are also available through the Chamber's website. The first of 3 new public art pieces are being installed this week in the downtown North Core. Last year, an open call went out looking for artwork that would liven up the multi-million-dollar streetscape project. One of the winners was the artist team of Shelby Gagnon and Scott Unson for their piece called Thunder Bay Particles Medicine Wheel. It's made up of 212 bronze medallions embedded into the paving stones along Red River Road. Gagnon's father, Conrad, was helping Unson with the installation on Tuesday and says he was proud to help bring his daughter's vision to life. The public art coordinator for the city, Caitlin McMillan, was on hand to see it all come together.
What they're doing is installing these little 2 to 4 inch bronze medallions with carvings in them into the paving work of the ground. And every single one of them has a story to tell, whether it's related to the location of the art piece, whether it's related to the natural environment or the historical and cultural heritage of Thunder Bay.
She was very happy, and she's worked hard to what she's become, and she was just proud that she's going to be able to do this, and for the city and stuff like that, to just leave her mark.
The city allocated $500,000 for the 3 creations. The Particles project should be completed by early next week. The next one to be installed later this fall is Boy Rowland's piece called All Together. The faces will be displayed on 3 panels arranged in a triangle formation. The final artwork by Simon Lacey features metallic fish sculptures and will be installed in the springtime at the corner of Red River and Mall Street. Well, always wonderful to see art livening up the area, Fiona. And I have to say, the area felt lively today as it was another beautiful day.
Yeah, I had one guest come into the station here today in flip-flops.
Nice.
And, you know, it's this close to being October. We are definitely in fall season now, and you wouldn't know it by the temperatures. Now, we did have a seasonably cool overnight low of 7 Celsius, but we warmed up to 23, and with the Humidex, felt like 27. We should be seeing about daytime highs of 15 Celsius during the day. So well above that. That's under mostly sunny skies, and winds were kind of all over the place. For the most part, they were either light to somewhat moderate, but they started out from the west, then they were coming in from the east, and everything in between those 2 extremes. If we take a look at what's going on across the region at this time, we've got a lot of sunshine everywhere today. Overnight, it was quite a bit cooler through this corridor between the northwest and the southeast. Overnight lows, 5 Celsius was pretty on par for this time of year. At this hour, Fort Frances is enjoying their high for the day of 25, but when you factor in the Humidex, it feels closer to 28. Red Lake, just a few clouds, and they're also at their high. Humidex is making it feel a couple degrees warmer there as well. We're up to 25 in the Sioux, 26 in Dryden, even 24 in Pickle Lake. Then, despite lots of sunshine all day today, we've got a little bit cooler temperatures, 21 in Armstrong, 20 in Greenstone, and no real Humidex to speak of in this entire region. But yet, despite the fact that this looks quite a bit cooler, 19 along the northern and eastern shores of the lake under mostly cloudy skies as you head towards Sault Ste. Marie, this is still well above normal there as well. So even the cooler temperatures are feeling quite warm. Tonight, a low of 9, partly cloudy, and as has been the trend of late, we've got fog patches developing into the region after midnight. For the second half of your work week, good news, temperatures are going to be remaining above normal, and even better yet, we've got more sunshine on the way. So I think Mother Nature's being very gentle, gentling us into the new season of fall, because although September has really been kind of all over the place, we've done pretty well, I think, for our summer and for the beginning of the new season.